guys, it's Jamie, and today I'm going to show you a simple box. And we're doing this in our lanterns class as a box luminary, but it could just be a decorative box. And I'm just going to show you the method I came up with. So first off, this box is based on a cutter set. So it doesn't matter what size square cutters you have, choose one and then go with that. So if you have a set, you can see the box can be all different kind of sizes. So this is the measurement of the top, it's the measurement of the bottom, and the four sides. So if we take a look, I thought it would be easier to come up with a strip rather than, you know, figure this out all the way along. And so that's what I did. It comes out to, for this size cutter, 14.5 inches. So one of the things that you do when you're making this box is it's helpful to, after you decorate, to lay your form back on and know where your lines are going to be for turning. The other thing too is because I'm going to have a butt joint here, I'm making one of the squares be 1/4 inch smaller to account for the thickness of the clay. So you'll see that when I come to it. So first off, I'm going to start with decorations, and to do that I'm just going to press this in to my clay, and then I'm just going to mark on the areas that's outside my pattern where the lines are. So now I know where to decorate in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this simple sun pattern that I have, and I'm going to press it in the center here. All right, now that my decoration is in, I'm going to go ahead and cut. Sometimes when I'm cutting with a paper template, I like to use something stiff up against it to help with guide my needle tool. If you use tar paper templates, you really don't need to do this. All right, so this is the square that has been cut back a little bit. It's the short square. One of the things I meant to do before ripping this off was mark up on top where the line is for the fold. And now I'm going to bring the piece up, bring it into a horseshoe. So now I need to start making the folds in the clay, and to help me with that I have a bit of a 2x3 here, and I'm just going to line that up to where the first crease I see is. So when you're done with this portion, you're just going to have to review the box to see, does it look equal? Or, you know, like when I'm looking at it right now, it feels more diamond shape, and it feels like this side is longer than any of the others. So I'm going to come back in here and maybe scooch it back a little bit and make the turn come. There, I'm going to go back even more. There. There, so I'm taking away from that side of it. Alright, so remember the square that was short. I had taken 1/4 inch off. This is that short square, and it's going to get 1/4 inch back now because of this joint. So let's go ahead and close that one up. So after I close it, you just saw me use the pony roller to kind of round that corner, just like the other edges are a little rounded. The other thing that you might do here is put a coil on this inside for the inside seam. Once that is done, now you can add the bottom. So the bottom is right here, and I'm going to go ahead and score and add a bottom square. This is your opportunity for decoration as well. So I'm going to smooth this a little bit. You could always decide to go with a hair bit bigger bottom if you want the edges to come out. But I have another treatment that we're going to do. Alright, so now I have the bottom on, and I'm just going to do a quick roll. And now prepare for the other treatment. So for this treatment, I am going to add some trim onto the bottom. So let's go ahead and score that. All right, well, I've just textured a strip using this roller. And now what I'm going to do is cut out the length of my trim. So I like the width of my tape measure, so I'm just going to use that. So I'm going to cut along that. Looking for like 15 inches, so that's good. I got about 18. All right, once they're cut, I'm just going to use my fingers to compress the edges. All right, these are going to go right back under plastic until the box is ready. Here's one of the strips I prepared in an earlier clip. And what I'm going to do here is just do a quick score. So when you're considering your designs for your box, I think I just kind of lucked out. But you want to leave space if you're going to do trim like this. So now I'm going to get to this corner here. I'm going to take one of them and just come down at an angle. And then this one I'm bringing up and come down at an angle. That was a bug that came into my frame. I had to swoosh it away. Anyway, all right, so now what I'm going to do is put this board back in and just really press along the side to make sure that it's on there. The other nice thing about doing this pressing is you can bring it up the wall too to make sure that your walls are nice and straight. Now on the bottom, all I do is I just go around the edge and I kind of bend it in, or blend it in, I guess. So I'm gonna put the same type of treatment around the top. Now to accomplish that, I'm gonna have a support piece. All right, I'm just gonna roll it a little bit bigger. So I had two of these set up. One was gonna be the roof. But for right now, it's gonna be a support piece. So I'm putting plastic over this because I don't want the clay to stick to the box. Now I'm bringing the box back and placing it square on this. So I don't want any of the support box to be peeking out from underneath it. So I'm lining it up so that it's equal to it. So now I'm going to add my bottom trim. Or this is the top trim rather, the next layer of trim. Now you can see I have a gallery inside the box. And once again, like I did with the last one, I'm just going to go around and straighten out these walls. So the last bit of this box now is to create the top that goes on here. So there's a different bunch of ways you could do it. You could have a flat top, or you could have a slightly domed top. I like the slightly domed top, and so that's what I'm going to show. Actually, I'll show you both options. So for this to work for me, I need to let this set up a bit. So I'm going to come back when this is more soft leather hard, and we'll finish it off with the roofing. Okay, so I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but so for this next step, what I normally do is when the box is leather hard, I invert the lid on it and then press in to make it go higher, to give it a dome shape. So what I'm going to use here is the cookie cutter itself. So it's going to act as that. The only reason I'm not using that right now is this is too soft. So in order to speed this along, I've made the top, and now I'm going to invert it on here. And now I'm just going to press down into it. And you can see the shape that it's making here. And normally what I do is I'll just take a rib and I'll just encourage that curve, however I need to do it. So what's nice about this is I can make adjustments with the plastic as necessary. Like if I feel like it's sloping one way or another, I can bring that up. And then I can also look at the shape it's going into. All right, I think that looks good. So that's just going to hang out and set up. You could do the exact same thing on a form if you have a rounded form, for example. So let's do this again. And put it on there. So once these are set up, they can be put back to the box. The one thing that you'll have to do is once they're in the box is maybe do some rearranging of the corners or adjustments, softening of the corners. But, let's let these set up and then we'll come back and do the little final finial. All right, so we're back and these have firmed up quite a bit. Let's just check this one out and see what it looks like. Hey, not bad. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set it down and just look to see if it looks like it's evenly, if it's balanced. It looks good. This is compared to this one here. What you could do is you could always, put this on here just to make sure. All right, so let's talk about toppers now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to test out my top on the box to see if it looks all right. It's a lot of suns. Yeah, that's okay. I'm thinking that the box could be a little bit bigger. So maybe just a hair bigger, or the top should be. So I was calling this a roof earlier. I've been looking at a lot of videos on how to build sheds. Anyway, so the box lid, the box top, it's okay for being the same size. It's going to be a little bit loose in there, but that's fine. I think it looks fine. You could make it up maybe 1/8 of an inch bigger than the design if you wanted to. All right, so let's see. What are we going to do now for toppers? I was just playing around off camera and I thought, oh, I could continue the sun theme and do something like that on one of them. I could do, this is just cutouts from little squares. I could put that on top of there to see what that looks like. So I would slip and score each of these pieces on. That's kind of fun. One is just a decoration from a texture I have. So that could go on there that way or that way. Or I could just go with a little ball. That works too. So the one thing, if you're going to do like a little ball, first I just shape this as you would a ball to, rolling it in your hands. Then what you want to do is really tap it down so you have a lot of space that you can use to attach. So let me just show you these other ones I did. So this one, I first centered a little ball of clay on the big texture and kind of pressed it in a little bit. And then I took another stamp and I'm going to circle that on here, center it, and then press. And then now I have this on one side and this on the other. So you could actually do something like this and then just cut it in half. That looks nice too. Like that. Kind of like that. As far as this one goes, I'm not going to go into great detail about that, but it simply is a coil that I turned around. So you can bring it out like that. cut off the excess. Like that. That could go on there. And then to get all the little sun parts on it, I took the rest of the handle and I cut it up into pieces, and I just rolled the ends to make a point. So now I have the ends, tap down, slip and score and add on. So those are different treatments that you can do for your piece. And I don't know, I guess I spent the most time on that one, so I'll do this one. And let's see. What I'm going to do is score along here. That's how that will look. It's okay. I'm not super in love with it. But now for drying, I'm going to dry it upside down inside the box. And that's what I would do for all my lids going through this process. Now, when it's going to be fired, it'll be fired the other way around, and it will have, I will wax where the pieces meet, and also, you know, make sure there's no glaze touching. For this guy, this will be my backup lid, just in case. I will do, I kind of like that guy for some reason, so I'll do that one. All right, well, I don't have anything to fold this in and dry. I could do it that way, I guess. But I think what I'll do is bring this back and just let it set up on here until it's done. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Now for the top, I have my decoration on it. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to score with a wet toothbrush again the bottom side, and I'll score this one for good measure. Now theoretically the box is done with the exception of the topper.